Next piece, we're going back to Tesla again. And it was revealed that an earthquake which drew police and ambulances to the region of his laboratory at 48 East Houston Street, New York in 1898 was the result of a little machine he was experimenting with at the time that you could put in your overcoat pocket. Now the bewildered newspapermen pounced upon this as at least one thing they could understand. Nikola Tesla, the father of modern electricity, told what had happened as follows. Tesla stated, "I was experimenting with vibrations. I had one of my machines going and I wanted to see if I could get it in tune with the vibration of the building, to get the machine to be in tune with the vibration of the building." And he said, "I put it up notch after notch and there was a peculiar cracking sound. I asked my assistants where did the sound come from. They did not know. I put the machine up a few more notches and there was a louder cracking sound." And he said, "I knew I was approaching the vibration of the steel building. I pushed the machine a little higher and suddenly all the heavy machinery in the place was flying around. And he then said, "I grabbed a hammer and broke the machine, as the building would have been about our ears in another few minutes." So what he was describing is the ancient technology of when you match the frequency of an object of matter, you have the ability to manipulate it and or destroy it. And this taps into the later work of Rife. If you match the frequency of a dis-ease, the dis-ease will disappear. All those pills you take are poisons for the start, are not needed. They never were. But again, the Rife machine is an external technology for an internal technology we all have, as long as you work on yourself and you believe in yourself. Now, if you had a slightly larger machine and you match the frequency of a small town, the whole town can disappear and an older version of it will come into view. I have witnessed that. And this is also how they built the giant monuments and buildings. Matching the vibrational frequency of a building block changes the density of the block, and you can move it in a much easier way than brute force lifting. Now, outside the street where the experiment took place, there was pandemonium. The police and ambulances arrived, and Tesla told his assistants to say nothing. He said, "We told the police it must have been an earthquake, and that's all they ever knew about it." But some shrewd reporter asked Dr. Tesla at this point what he would need to destroy the Empire State Building, and the doctor replied, "Vibration will do anything." And he said it would only be necessary to step up the vibrations of the machine to fit the natural vibration of the building, and the building would come crashing down. And he said that's why soldiers break step when crossing a bridge. Now, within a year of that event, Tesla was moved, probably by the military, to Colorado Springs, where in 1899 he was using his experimental station and inadvertently contacted several other species across the galaxy. And on the occasion of his annual birthday celebration, interviewed by the press on July the 10th, 1935, in his suite at the Hotel New Yorker, Tesla announced a method of transmitting mechanical energy accurately with minimal loss over any terrestrial distance, including a related new means of communication and a method, he claimed, which would facilitate the unerring location of underground mineral deposits. Now that machine is ancient technology, as that was described as being used in one of the ancient Sumerian texts and the story of Marduk. Remember, he and the Anunnaki came to this planet looking for gold, and in the text it spoke of him detecting gold from the sky, which means he was using a frequency detector machine, much like our more modern version of LiDAR. And at that time he recalled the earth-trembling quake that brought police and ambulances rushing to the scene while an experiment was in progress with one of his mechanical oscillators. And from My Inventions, which is in the autobiography of Nikola Tesla, chapter 5, The Influences That Shape Our Destiny, he said, as I review the events of my past life, I realize how subtle are the influences that shape our destinies. An incident of my youth may serve to illustrate it, he said. One winter's day I managed to climb a steep mountain in company with other boys. The snow was quite deep and a warm southerly wind made it just suitable for our purpose. And we amused ourselves by throwing snowballs which would roll down a certain distance, gathering more or less snow, and we tried to outdo one another in this sport. But suddenly a ball was seen to go beyond the limit, swelling to enormous proportions until it came as big as a house and plunged thundering into the valley below with a force that made the ground tremble. And he said, I looked on spellbound, incapable of understanding what had happened. And for weeks afterward the picture of the avalanche was before my eyes, and I wondered how anything so small could grow to such an immense size. And ever since that time the magnification of feeble actions fascinated me, and when years later I took up the experimental study of mechanical and electrical resonance, I was keenly interested from the very start. Now, Tesla waited 37 years to brag of the earthquake incident in 1898, but the very next year, in 1899, he dropped everything and went out west to Colorado Springs in what he described was a transatlantic race to broadcast and receive radio signals on the world stage. He had dropped everything and went to Colorado. And he wanted to send power, not signal. And send power he did. What he didn't know is it didn't just go across the earth, it went way out into space.